Greetings, everyone, and welcome to another episode of FaB. I'm Joe Mayo, aka Mean Mr. Mayo, and I'm your host, along with my other host, co-host Matthew Street. Hi, Matthew. How are you?
Hey, Joe, great to be here. So happy to be back after a couple of weeks.
Yes, indeed. As I always say at the beginning, in case some of you still don't know, Matthew Street has a YouTube channel, Beatles centric, as I would call it, but not necessarily only Beatles. There's power pop on there
Oh,
and
yeah.
so forth. So, and other things that he's wild about. So check his channel out.
Oh,
Now,
sure.
I'm
Thank you.
very, very happy to introduce our special guest today. Okay, let me tell you now, I do a show with him as a co host, Talk More Talk, which, we'll get into that a little bit later, I'm sure. And it's a solo Beatles video cast. I've known about this guy since the early 80s, dating myself and him too. But I remember he had a radio show out of New Jersey back in the WDHA days, and I used to listen. And I loved that he played so much solo Beatles. And I said, this guy is finally somebody that really appreciates the solo music. He used to have what was called a super Beatles solo montage or something to that effect, where he would play real quick snippets of not just solo Beatles, there'd be Beatles and solo Beatles mixed in. And you'd have to quickly jot down the titles. And if you can you get a few moments of a song. And I used to love doing that and winning some prizes. And anyway, we used to see him at Beatle Fests, right? And I'd see him up there, and I'd say, "Yeah, I'd like to do that. I have a few things I want to say to that guy, you know." And now I can do it. So here he is. Welcome everybody, Ken Michaels. Hey, Ken.
Hi, Joe. Thanks for having me on. I got to tell you that I am hearing everybody repeating what they're saying in
Oh,
my
okay, that's all
headphones.
right. We're live. All I would say you do is, well, you would have to try to, if by any chance on your page you see any other things open, you'd have to X them out.
Okay, I'm going to do that all right now.
Because you only want to leave StreamYard on, and
Okay,
anything else,
I'm going to
you
X out everything else.
because before the show began, folks, we didn't have this part. We were looking for it; it didn't happen. but that's how it
Unfortunately,
goes.
I'm one of those people that has like 10 windows at the
Mm-hmm.
same time.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. You can't do that on StreamYard. Just yeah. So I'm looking to see. We got some people here already. Hello to the people here. It says close YouTube. Yeah, make sure YouTube is
Yeah,
closed.
YouTube is a big one.
That's
Yeah.
a biggie. You make sure
Yeah.
if you see YouTube. Hello, we
Okay,
got
it's
Hudson.
fine.
We got Warren Brown. Hey, everybody. Doc Docus, Tom Agnati, everybody. Matthew Smith. So, Ken, I'm going to I'd eventually like to do a proper interview show with you one day. But just before we
Anytime.
start, just give everybody who may not know that much about you as a little summary of your radio career and how you maybe got into the Beatles thing. We're going to take a long time, so you can make it a short version, and also maybe a little bit of what you do now. Although we'll cover that at the end mostly.
Well, I think we shouldn't go into how I got into the Beatles because then that could be that'll turn into a 1 hour
That'll be too
conversation
long,
just
right
on that.
there. Right there. Yeah.
But 1982, I was in college at the New York Institute of Technology in Old Westbury. I knew I wanted to have a career in radio. I certainly had no idea I wanted to do a Beatles show. I never even thought about doing it. A friend of mine suggested that I do it because everybody there at the college radio station knew I was a big Beatle fan. I used to wear Beatles shirts all the time.
Mm-hmm.
This was at the time of Tug of War. I wore a Tug of War shirt all the time. And always on my shifts on the air, I always played Beatles and solo. So they made a suggestion to me, this friend of mine there, who was the program director then, to do a Beatles show on Sunday nights. I had the least desirable shift, which was Sunday nights from 10 to 1. And the last hour was all Beatles from midnight to 1. And when I suggested to move it to 10 o'clock, I went from having very few listeners to an avalanche of
All
listeners.
right. Right.
And so it was then that I started to develop a Beatles show where I mixed group and solo music together. And a big thing from the very beginning was always having Beatles trivia every single week. And I invented all these different games, and I used titles of Beatles songs and solo songs for all these games, and I gave away prizes. I had a local store from Long Island that gave me tchotchkes, all kinds of stuff,
Mm.
45s, people will try to win anything. It doesn't matter how cheap it
Right,
is.
right.
But I did that for a year and a half, and then I decided I wanted to try to get this show on commercial radio, and that's when I approached WDHA in New Jersey. I knew nothing about the radio station. A friend of mine who we've had on Talk More Talk, Dave Morrell, suggested that I send a tape to the station. And originally, they didn't even want to hire me for doing a Beatles show. They asked if I wanted to do a Motown show. And I said,
Yeah.
believe me, I love Motown, but I don't know Motown in depth. I know the hits, and that's about it. But I really love doing a Beatles show. And the program director at the time in his office sat me down, and I told him all about my show and how different it was, and he said, "That's okay. You can play Love Is Strange if you want to."
No.
And when I heard that, I said to myself, I think I'm going to be very happy here.
Yeah, he didn't even say like Band on the Run.
No, Love Is Strange. It's the guy knew Love Is
There
Strange.
you go.
And so I was there for 10 years. And then after that, I developed a podcast show, Things We Said Today. I also had my Beatles show on XM radio when
Oh,
it
yeah.
was just XM, when they didn't merge
Before they
with
did the merge,
Sirius.
right, right.
Yeah, I changed the name of the show. It was originally the All Request Beatles Show to Every Little Thing. It was on one channel called Fine Tuning. I was also heard on their 60s channel where I did Beatle Breaks and Beatle News. And that lasted for about 6 years. And then when the merger happened with Sirius, I lost all my work there.
Mm.
A lot of the XM employees were let go. It was
Oh, wow.
more controlled by Sirius than XM. And so I was looking for things to do. And then I came up with the idea of doing a podcast show, which started out being FaB Forum. And I did that with 3 friends of mine from Long Island. I did that for 2 years. Then I developed another podcast show with Steve Marinucci, Things We Said Today, where it became primarily a news-oriented Beatles show because Steve was, the king of news, Beatle news on the internet. Nobody gave more news on a daily basis than Steve. So we started doing the show together, and after a while, especially when there were moments when there wasn't that much news. I mean, almost every week there's news, but
Yeah.
sometimes you had periods where there wasn't that much to say. We decided to expand the show. And that's when we added Al Sussman and Alan Kozin. Originally, Robert Rodriguez. He was in one show with us. and then for some reason or another, he couldn't stay with us. So it was the 4 of us for a while. Then Al left. I got Darren DeVivo to join us. And Steve Marinucci left. So it's been the 3 of us, and the show's been on since 2012. Then when Egypt Station came out, I started the show Talk More Talk with Kid O'Toole and Tom Agnotti and Ken Womack. You came along a little bit later.
Yeah.
You were the Ringo of the group.
Yeah, I guess you
Yeah.
could say that, right? Yeah. Yeah.
And it's been a blast doing that show as well. So I've got Every Little Thing has been a syndicated radio show now since around 2011, 2012.
Right.
And that's just something that I had to build by myself. I had nobody to help me with this. So I have it on over 40 radio stations at the moment. I've got the 2 podcast shows. I just started a YouTube channel, Ken Michaels Radio, where it's mainly one-on-one interviews. I've had you on, Joe. I've had everybody from Talk More Talk on, except Ken Womack. Got to work on that.
Yeah.
And even Ellen Kozin. And we've done 30 shows so far. I've got that. I've got my website, kenmichaelsradio.com. And that's it in a nutshell. That's as fast as I can say it all.
A lot
Surprise!
a lot to get in there.
Yeah. How you find the time to come here? You did somehow.
I don't know. This is the one thing I enjoy doing most of all the work that I do. I've done a lot of work in radio, especially as a producer.
Yeah.
But, the work that I've done on the Beatles is extremely unique. If you ever listen to Every Little Thing, it's a combination of this wide variety of music, the group, the solo, cover versions, songs they wrote for other people, songs they produced for other people, tribute songs that have references to the Beatles and songs. There's so much that I throw into the mix that makes it so different and unique. And, it's anything but your typical, let's look back at the 60s with the Beatles type shows. It really covers everything. Nothing gets Nothing gets ignored. That's why it's called Every Little Thing.
I was going to say
So
that's the title.
yeah, and I do have unique themes every single week. And all I got to do is listen to any of the shows. It could be anything from John's political songs to songs of Paul on drums, to songs the Beatles wrote for other artists, to songs that start with the letter B.
Mhm.
Anything I want to. It could be serious subjects. It could be silly. Anything you can throw in, including the kitchen sink,
Mm.
is there in that show. And I think that I think radio. I'm kind of bothered by how limited commercial radio is. That everything has to be, the same 300, 500 songs if you listen to an oldie station
Right,
or classic
exactly.
rock.
Mhm.
But here on my show, you can hear the hits and you can hear the deepest cuts. You can hear anything that the Beatles ever touched.
Right, right.
Anything that they were even remotely involved with.
Mhm.
So to me, that way you get a full scope of what the Beatles are all about instead of a limited view, which is what radio is pretty much programmed most of the time.
Mhm.
Whenever I hear a Beatles show, most of the time I'm kind of bored
Yeah.
because it doesn't
Mhm.
go past 1970. A lot of these
Right,
shows,
right.
and you know, even to this day, if I see a Beatles tribute band, I want to hear some solo music. I
Right.
don't like the Beatles being kept locked away in the 60s.
And some of
Mhm.
them do
So,
that. Some of them do solo.
Yeah.
yeah, I
It's
wish they
always a
all did.
treat when you get that. Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
And you're doing something you love. When you're doing something you love, Ken, it's not work. I'm sure it's all fun and games and having a great time.
That's true. I hardly ever leave this room.
Yeah.
You're probably sick of looking at this room, Joe.
No, no, no. Well, no more than I'm sick of looking at my own, and everybody else is sick of looking at it. Got to change things up a little bit. But all right, Ken. So thanks a lot for that. Of course, we're going to be talking about the songs on the Let It Be album.
Mhm.
Is it officially the last album? And I always think of Abbey Road as the last album, even though, of course, they were released backwards. Myself, it's funny. A lot of times, fans will, when they rate the albums, put "Let It Be" near the bottom. Or even from like if you're talking about least favorites, it goes near the bottom, along with a
Mhm.
couple of other contenders. But it always makes me amused that you think, even if that may be so for some people, it's funny, isn't it, that you got 3 number 1 singles on there,
Yeah.
Mhm.
you know? And I don't know how many other groups could claim that on their so-called lesser album. So
Yeah.
that's
I
pretty.
bet for a lot of bands, this would be their best album.
Oh my goodness. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
for sure.
Yeah.
Mm.
For sure, as they say.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Released, of course, the album in May of 1970, right?
Mhm.
It came out.
Mm.
And let's we get all the people ready to go, I'm sure, with their lists here too. We're going to try to do this, as I always say, try, because it's very difficult. Some of them are easier, some of them are tough. I know in this one, Ken was saying too. I mean, sometimes you can get maybe your best ones figured out, or your least, but the middle.
Yeah.
Where do
That's
you?
the toughest.
That gray murky area. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Or when we do our next show, which I don't want to get ahead of myself too much, but when we do our next show, which is probably going to be Past Masters 2,
Right.
everything's going to be the top. So pretty much, with
Yeah.
with exceptions. So
That's difficult.
why
Yeah.
even bother? But we will bother. All right, folks. Let's start now. We got 12 tracks on the Let It Be album. And I'm going to start with Ken to lead us off, to give you your choice for number 12, your so-called least, if you had to rank them.
Can you take a wild guess as to what it might
Well,
be?
I have one of two guesses. I don't know.
Yeah. I have
I'm
one
not
or
sure.
two.
I'm going to go with Maggie May.
Okay.
I enjoy having it there. It's nice to have in between tracks or to end side one. But it's just it was a Liverpool folk song. I would have loved it if they did a proper full version of Maybe I'm Amazed. But as it stands, we just have this 30-second version of the song. I'm glad it's there, but compared to everything else on the album,
Hmm.
well, that and number 11 are pretty darn close for me. But
Yeah,
there's got to be one at the bottom, and that's what I picked.
sure. All right, Matthew, how about you for number
Well,
12?
let's keep the ball rolling. I got Maggie May at number 12 also. And again, to me, it reminds me of some of those little ditties on the White Album. Nice to have on there. It's short and sweet. It's cute. Not a fully realized song on this album, but yeah, I put it at number 12. I like having it. I wouldn't throw it off the album. Nice to have it on there, but number 12 for me as well.
All right, so let's start out by making it unanimous. I also picked Maggie May at number 12. Of course, there's another one which I'm sure is going to come up very quickly. It was a choice. Which one? Which one do I put? The last one, because I thought this one was at least a little bit of a laugh, a little bit of a I can't say more of a song in a way, a little bit more involved.
Yeah.
But no, I think I like the one I'm going to put number 11 a hair better. So yeah. Maggie May for me at number 12. So that was easy enough for us.
Unanimous.
We have a question. Are you guys going to consider the versions on Let It Be Naked? I would think as if they apply.
Yeah, I didn't rank Let It Be Naked at all. I didn't even consider some of those tracks.
But I mean, I think I've been thinking of a couple of comparisons here in some of the songs that I might want.
I mean, I wish "Don't Let Me Down" was on here, but
oh yeah, right. We should have mentioned that too. I mean, "Don't Let Me Down." It's a great B-side choice, but it would be pretty high up there for me if "Don't Let Me Down" was on.
Yeah, that's great John track. Yeah.
Often I've wondered why "Don't Let Me Down" wasn't on Let It Be, but I figured that because it was on the Hey Jude album.
Right.
Which came out before.
It came out first. Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably why it wasn't included.
True. I didn't even think. Yeah, that's right. It came out. How much was it? Like several months, wasn't it? Like
I think
the Hey Jude
February.
Album?
February of 70. Hey Jude.
Was it February or January? One of the other.
Yeah,
very early. January.
One of those.
February.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, right. I never even gave that a thought of that. All right. Let's see. So we got a few. Tom digs it. Somebody here. I love Maggie May. Well, it's fun, but I would hardly put it number 1. Well, maybe some people will. You'd be surprised what some of the choices are here.
Yeah, nothing against it. It's a fun song to have on here. But
did I really do that?
I'm so busy thinking of the controls here.
If you did, Ken, I missed it.
I'm sorry. That was a golden blunder. If I did.
That's the only kind you can have as a Beatles fan, a golden one. Yeah, I think that we say that it doesn't ruin the album. I think that was the idea too, as close as you could come, or Phil Spector could come, to kind of like make it feel like the original intent, like have this kind of live studio band,
right? Loosey goosey,
right.
Yeah.
That's why I like the intro of Two of Us. I dig a Big Me and all that.
Yeah,
I felt when Let It Be Naked came out, I felt like it was missing because it didn't have that.
Right.
So
no, I agree.
Now, this is interesting. My friend Matthew Smith often comes up with interesting choices. Long and Winding Road, Maudlin and Plotting, The Poor Man's Let It Be, or Hey Jude. It's okay once in a great while, but rarely. And you should hear, Ken, what he thinks of My Love. it's kind of the same. We always tease each other back and forth about that. But I know a number of people that aren't too wild about Long and Winding Road, to tell you the truth.
Well, Matthew and I are not on the same planet. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
So I just want to. I'll get going in a minute. I just want to get a few more. There you go, Warren Brown, Beatles Kingdom. My opinion is they're all number 1. Dig it. All right. Okay, let's continue now and go to number 11. And start with you, Matt. What do you got for number 11?
Well, again, going with a lot of the same things I said with Maggie May at 12. For number 11, I went with Dig It. Again, I don't want to call it a throwaway. I hate using that term, but it's a fun little snippet to have on the album. Just like the little snippets on the White Album, I think they're little treasures and they should remain there to make it what it is. So I think Dig It should be here. I actually have heard, I don't know if I heard it on a bootleg or maybe one of you guys can help me. I've heard a much longer version of Dig It somewhere.
Yeah. It's an 8-minute version. It's 8 minutes or so.
And I like that. I really enjoyed that longer version. It kind of was grooving along for a while. I really enjoyed it. But for this one, it's short little ditty, fun to have, but there's just 10 other songs that are more realized for me and more enjoyable. So I put Dig It at 11.
Okay, Ken.
May I echo those words?
Sure.
that Matthew just said. It really works leading
This is
into
weed
Let
wine.
It Be the way they work to dig it in there. It's a great jam, and yeah, I like hearing the full version. They did two full versions of
Oh,
Dig It,
okay.
but one of them was bootlegged, I know of, and they took like 50 seconds of that and used that to go into Let It Be here.
Mhm.
But as a jam, I like hearing it. I don't know if I'd want to hear 8 minutes every time,
Oh, I
you
do.
know, of Dig It, on an album. But I think what the choice that was made here, I guess Phil Spector made it, was the wise one to just give you a little bit of it, a
Right,
taste
right.
of it, and it works really well into Let It Be.
Yeah, of course. In the movie Let It Be, John does a little bit of Dig It, more than that of Dig
Yeah.
It in the movie.
Mhm.
Actually, and I think that's a fun. Yeah, we use the word "fun" so liberally. Fun. It's an enjoyable moment in the movie for me. And John's really getting into it. I like that. Of course, Matt was talking about the bootleg version. I was going to mention that too. I do have a couple of bootlegs that have it on there, and if they had the so-called full version of it, however long this jam was, somebody said 15 minutes. It was one of the version. It can get a little monotonous, I'm sure, but I think I would like it better than where it is. It's just look, it's a no brainer for most of us. I think
Hmm.
the two tracks that are just like snippets
Mm.
that fill out the album. All right. So do we have? So of course, that's I think it's my number 11. Do we have
Okay.
any other comments here?
It's kind of like on the White Album, you'd probably put Wild Honey Pie as, at the bottom
Oh
of the
yeah,
list.
well,
It's the
Yeah,
same thing,
right, right.
yeah, Maggie May was done better by Rod Stewart. Yeah, talk about songs that are played out, but I still love it.
Mm,
Maggie May.
true.
Let's see where we're at here. Okay, Tom Hunyadi, Maggie May. He has them in
Tom flipped them.
reverse.
Yeah.
Yeah, flip. Dig it. Love the track, but much prefer the 5 or 6 minute bootleg version. Yeah, I know what Ken's number one is. Well,
He
I
already
know.
does know, and you
I'll,
probably know.
I don't. Not
I
100% sure.
I think you do.
Oh, but I do know. I think I know what your number 10 is going to be because I watched another show, listened to another show that you did once.
Uh-huh.
So the longer version works better. I'll dig it. We got
Mhm.
Maggie May. We got Maggie May. Fortunately, the truncated version. Let's see if we got anybody here that maybe put something else.
I see some my eyesight's not the best, but someone dig a
Dig a
pony.
Pony,
Yeah.
my least John Beatles song.
Mm.
Let's see. Okay. All right. Let's continue now. We're already into the top 10,
We're in the
fellas.
top 10. Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah. Now, Ken, I think I know what you're going to put. I'll tell you if it was right or not. What do you have, Ken, for number 10?
dig a pony.
That's what I thought.
Mm.
Dig a pony, just like Hudson. It's one of my least favorite Beatles songs. Period. But again, like I want to emphasize this: Beatles
Yeah.
songs go from good to great. So
Right.
even the songs that I like the least, I'm still glad that I have them. I don't regret owning anything from the
Mhm.
Beatles catalog. So Dig a Pony just kind of meanders melodically. And normally, I'm not a big lyrics person. Melody is always far more important to me than lyrics, but great lyrics can really enhance a song and make a song better. I like melodies, I like arrangements, I like hooks, I like all that. And that kind of comes before lyrics for me. So that can explain why I give Paul McCartney a free pass very often with some of the lyrics that he writes that a
Right.
lot of people have knocked from time to time. But listen to the lyrics of Dig a Pony. They're really pretty ridiculous.
Mm.
I mean, let's see, I wrote it down here. I do
Yeah.
a road hog, well, you can penetrate any place you go. I pick a moon dog, well, you can radiate everything you are. I roll a stony. Well, you can imitate everyone you know. I wrote a lorry. Well, you can syndicate any boat you row. What does any of that mean?
Well, I was gonna when my time comes, you're saving me a lot of effort because I would say the same. However, it depends if the song. Like I love "I Am the Walrus," for example. That's nonsense.
Right.
It's funny
Right.
how that works sometimes. But well, I'll get to when I get to the song. It'll be like about number one or so. no, no. But yeah, that roll a Stony line. Some people used to tell me that was a dig at Mick Jagger and the Stones for imitating the Beatles. I wonder if it is. You
Or
can
rolling a
imitate
joint.
everyone you know. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't think it's the Rolling Stones dig, but I've heard that because he says he always felt the Stones imitated the Beatles and copied them. So I always wondered that, but I don't know if
there was some meaning to that. Yeah.
But again, I just want to say, if Paul McCartney wrote these very same lyrics, he would be roasted. For one of his songs.
The critics would savage him.
Yeah, but you see, the whole thing with that, it's a whole other debate. Is it's the exception rather than the rule. Usually with John,
True.
and vice versa. So that's why I don't think and we know Paul could write some great lyrics.
Oh yeah,
John could write some great ballads. Soft stuff. That's why they were so dynamite together, right?
But Eye of the Walrus was stream of consciousness lyrics. It's whatever he thought in his head at the time, and we've come to accept it. We're so used to hearing those words, we've accepted it. And so, I mean, Paul did the same thing with Talk More Talk, with the song Talk More Talk. It's the same idea.
Yeah, well, I always thought that I could syndicate any boat that I was to row, but I don't know about that. All right, Matthew, what do you got for the...
I don't know what that means, but
doesn't mean anything. As John himself said, it was literally a nonsense song. Remember talking to that guy hanging outside the house. All right, Matt, what do you got for number 10?
All right, I'm sticking with Ken still. Number 10, I had I Dig a Pony. But let me just say this, going 10 and up, I don't skip any of these songs. I mean, I enjoy I Dig a Pony. I had to put it somewhere. I think it's a great little John rocker. Yes, the lyrics, just exactly as Kent said, they're nonsensical and somewhat meandering, and I agree with all that. But the actual music itself, I actually enjoy in this song, especially the part where they get to him and Paul singing the "All I Want Is You" and that little guitar lick. I don't know. I just have always gotten a buzz from that part. I love that little part there. I just think it's a cool little John rocker. Not one of his best. Yes, the lyrics are a little bit lacking, but overall, I think it's a good little rock tune. And I love the way it's performed in Let It Be. I just think it's kind of cool. But again, I had to put it at 10 because there's 9 other songs I think are a little better than this one. So,
wasn't the album version taken from the rooftop concert? I'm thinking.
Yes.
I think it was it.
But,
Okay.
But Phil Spector did cut out a lot of the "All I Want Is You" part. Flourishes in it, if that's the case.
Right.
They're more abundant in the rooftop performance.
But
okay.
Yeah, to me, it's a pretty good rocker.
I don't mean to. By the way, I don't mean to cut anybody off.
No. Don't.
Just be sure to say something if I'm going to go to the next number and you're not done. All right, number 10.
I would add just one thing. It does help that we have the rooftop concert to visualize them doing it.
Right.
So you can see them getting into the song, which helps for you to get more into it yourself.
Right.
So
exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good point.
Number 10, I'm going to make it unanimous again. I Dig a Pony. Even though I'm a big John fan, but that's one of my least favorite John Beatles songs. I think I still, again, Matt, you were mentioning about, I don't skip certain things or what. Right. For what it's worth, this is not addressing you personally, but that reminded me of something. I don't skip tracks when it comes to even if a solo Beatles or even a Beatles album, I tend to play it all the way through anyway, even songs I'm not wild about. I don't know. Maybe one day it'll click. Some of them, I don't know. But yeah, I wrote down disjointed, oddly structured. I didn't know what to say. It's just, the melody, if there's even one, I'm not wild. It's not really a melody there. It's not anything hummable or anything. Does it always have to be? No, because there'll be other times when I can contradict myself and someone will say, well, you like such and such a song and that one doesn't have a melodic structure. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. Who can explain? Sometimes one size doesn't fit all for every song, but this one for me, it's not so much the lyrics. I actually get a kick out of the lyrics. They mean nothing, but they crack me up. Anyway, I have fun with the lyrics. I don't know, just a lot of nonsense. but it's mostly because of the idea that it's just a crazy musically formed structure, just all over the place.
Right.
And that's it for me at number 10.
Okay.
And what about dig a pony? Sometimes I dig a pony.
It says dig a pony on the record. So.
Yeah, right.
Mm.
So, all right, dig a pony's better. Let's see where we go with a title. I mean, anyway, I think. Oh wow, I'm gonna go back a ways. I'm gonna start. Tom Agnotti has "I Me Mine," a
Oh,
George
okay.
song at number 10, and Beans thinks "Dig a Pony's" awesome. We got "Dig It" over there. We got "One After 909" from Farrell. We got Nate has "For You Blue" at number 10. We have another "For You Blue" at number 10. Here's another "I Me Mine" for Oliver.
Mm-hmm.
Doc Docus is right there. Annoying Diddy cringes every time at "I Me Mine." Ooh, ouch. Classic John, fun stuff says, I guess we're talking about Dig a Pony. One After 909. Douglas One Up from 63.
Yeah,
Yeah, true.
absolutely.
And here we go. Another person. Stephen O'Leary has Long and Winding Road rather low. The naked version is better, as is the anthology version. Spector smothered the life out of it. I happen to like Spector's work on this album. Well, by the way, quite a bit. I love the Long and Winding Road with Spector's work on it. Sorry, Paul. And I think Paul eventually started using
Coming around to it a little bit.
He
Didn't
came around to it a little bit. I thought, So let's just see what else we got here. I had to throw this in there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's all go out to the store. Macca at his best. Come on. I love the wordplay in Dig a Pony. Loved scratching my head and wondering what he
What do you
say.
say?
Okay.
Yeah, so we got a bunch of songs here.
Yeah.
Oh, well, wait a minute. I had a compliment here for Ken. I want to make sure. There it is. There you go, Ken. I agree. That was a must listen every Sunday morning to Ken on DHA.
Thank you, Rich.
Yes,
And he
indeed.
watches Talk More Talk with us?
Do you?
Yes, he does.
I don't know who's who. Okay, sorry. For You Blue. Okay, wow, there's a lot of comments here. Okay, let's get up to where we are now at number 9.
We're at 9.
Let's see, Matt, I got you penciled in for first here at number 9. What do
Oh,
you got?
okay. Well, I have George shows up for the first time with "For You Blue" for number 9 for me. It's an okay song, not great, but I enjoy it. Good George blues. I love the slide guitar. I have no real qualms with this song. I think it's good. It's just an average blues song. I don't know what more to say about it. I mean, I like it in the film a little better, seeing it visually in the film with John with the little pedal steel there on his lap and all that. It makes it more exciting and more enjoyable to see in the film rather than just listening to the audio. But I'll just say it's okay, not great. Number 9.
Okay. Ken, what do you have for number 9?
I also have For You Blue. Again, I love all these songs from 9 to number 1. Just want to make sure I emphasize that. But
we have to do that. It's a prerequisite.
Yeah. It's a simple blues progression, but it works very well. What I like actually most about it is that it's kind of a restrained version. It's not a full band feel. It's very laid back, and I like that approach that they used on it. Yeah, I mean, I'm happy with the remainder of this album. Extremely happy with it.
Ditto.
So something has to be at the bottom, more towards the bottom, and I have to put For You Blue there.
Understood. Okay, fellas. Now, poor George. I put George also at number 9. However, I had a little bit of a dilemma. One of my dilemmas in figuring these is, well, what song am I going to put on the beneath? Is it going to be For You Blue or I Me Mine? I wound up, at least today, could be different next week, but today I put I Me Mine first, number 9 to go.
Hmm.
I don't know why. That's technically the last Beatles song, really.
Yes,
That's not my reasoning, by the way. But
right,
that,
right. Wasn't
Hmm.
that the one George, Paul, and Ringo got together in early '70 and finished
yeah,
it up? Yeah.
in
January
January.
3rd.
Yeah, and there was no John. John wasn't there,
Mm.
and that's really considered the last Beatles song. But I don't know what it is. I mean, as Ken says, I like all these songs. It's just what are you going to put in order of the most favorite to least? That's where it falls. I don't have a reason. I don't dislike it.
Mm.
It's just that I like the other songs better. Really, I think.
I,
As
I
best I can.
do you guys like I like this fact that Spector extended it a little bit. I like the fact that he did that.
Absolutely.
The
Yeah, and
anthology, it seems too short, too quick. I like that
yeah, yeah.
he fleshed it out a little bit with that edit in there.
And
Yeah.
the words are interesting. I mean, it's a
Mm.
song, a song about ego and stuff like that. And you know, it's an interesting concept behind the song. It's just that I like the other songs better. It's as simple as that
Mhm.
Hmm.
for me for this one. I don't have much criticism of it. All right, so let's go up here, and I think I've been following Tom Hunyadi here. Well, first I'm going to put this up here. I agree with you. I love Spector's work on Let It Be. I think he really did a good job. Not everybody agrees. I understand. Tom, what's 1 after 9:09? As does Fun Stuff. And we got a comment here about the startling difference between the two Let It
Mm.
Be albums. Yeah, some of the things I like on Let It Be Naked, but some of them I prefer. Most of them I prefer on the released version. I prefer.
I
What
was
about you guys? You might,
I was
generally
just gonna say
speaking.
I would agree with you, Joe. There's things about I like having Let It Be Naked when it first came out. I really truly enjoyed it. But I agree with you. As overall, like the original better.
What do you think, Canada? The two.
Exactly. I will agree. Let It Be Naked, production-wise, is clean as a whistle.
Mm.
It is so clear when you listen to Let It Be Naked. The production's astounding on that. But I still prefer the Phil Spector produced album. There are some things that I like a lot about Let It Be Naked, like different versions,
Mm.
composites of I've Got a Feeling, in particular.
Yeah.
Don't Let Me Down is on there.
Hmm.
Yeah, I like that aspect of it. I like having the different version of The Long and Winding Road, but I still prefer overall to Let It Be the original one
Yeah.
from Phil Spector.
Right,
As
right.
do I. I
Mm.
love the "Don't Let Me Down" on there, and I love the without singing it. I love the I can't- please that he does in the middle of one of the verses.
Mm.
If it's not on, please don't let me down. I love that.
Hmm.
This is an interesting one. I think "Get Back" previously released and badly repurposed for the album. My repurposed. I
Oh,
love the purpose at the end of the song, if that's what you mean. Like, what they did with the end about passing the audition. But we'll get to
Hmm.
that. Uh, let's see. Sweet vocal and melody from George puts that song over the top. I'm guessing you mean "For You Blue."
For You Blue, maybe
Could
Broadway
be either
show.
to me.
There you go. There we go. I don't care if I hear it or not. You don't hate it though. And we got "Dig a Pony." Let's go down a little bit. I never noticed this. The
I
solos. Did you push it
no, I
further
was just
down?
gonna say I don't. That
I
didn't
didn't
jump
notice.
out at me. No.
The ones that stand out for me on there are "Across the Universe," on "Naked," "Across the
Hmm.
Universe," and
Mm. Yeah.
I also like "I've Got a Feeling" a lot on that too.
Yeah.
All right. Apologies to Ken. Long and winding road.
Winding Road.
All right, let's
Why
go.
don't you give it all away here?
Give it all away. Give it all away. All right, Ken, start us off. Your turn
Number
for
8.
number
Number
8.
8. Yeah.
Okay, I also put I Me Mine in there towards the bottom. I actually love this song a lot for the message, and like you said, it's all about trying to fight your ego. I love the melody. I love the biting lead guitar work from
Mm.
George.
Mhm.
The organ sound that's used in it, and it would be missing a lot if it was just the 1.5-minute version. That's really all that the Beatles recorded of it. And
True.
like Matthew said, extending it longer made a
Yeah,
huge difference.
it did.
Yeah, that's a good point. I just want to say something here, if I can find that comment. Sarah says, "Oh, fell asleep. Wish I had notification you were starting." I hope I hope it comes up. By the way, I put on usually the morning of. I usually it's a little late. I put on. I could do it a day or two before. I put up something on my channel saying when the time's going to be with a
Right.
thumbnail. Hopefully, people see that. I think most people see that image. That it's going to be starting at such and such a time. So.
Hmm.
Okay. So we're at number 8. Okay, Matt, it's your turn. What do you got for number 8?
I'm also with I Me Mine, and I hated to have George down, 2 songs down towards the bottom because I love George, and I do love this song. As Ken said, there's really nothing, from 9 or so, 10 forward that I dislike. It's a great George Harrison rocker. I love the fact that Paul and Ringo got together with him in January of '70 to finish that final recording, to have that little piece to go into the to go on the album to coincide with the film. Ken already said it. The biting guitar on this is great. The lyrics are great. It's just a great George rocker, and I think it's a deservedly good song that should get more credit than it does. But I put it at number 8 because there's 7 others that are a little better.
Exactly right. Okay, fellas. What I was saying earlier about how to flip these, which way to put the George songs. I have For You Blue at number 8. Nice little ditty written for Patty that I think that I like. And you got John on the lap steel guitar, which is
Yeah.
a nice novelty, dare I say. And I like the bit in there where George is goofing around a little bit and he gets into it and says, "Go, Johnny, go." In there. And Elmore James got nothing on this baby.
Right.
I like that little bit of banter in there. That's a lot of fun. It's a fun song. And I'll tell you, we were speaking off air a little bit. I think it was off air. Correct me if I'm wrong, about how you sometimes get an appreciation for certain songs later in life or something. Maybe you didn't like them as much. Now, you know what really turned this one around for me, made me like it more? It was seeing Paul perform this at the concert for George.
Yeah.
What a great choice, along with All Things Must Pass. Seeing Paul do For You Blue. I thought that was so good the way Paul handled that. And it really picked it up for me a lot.
He sounded very natural with that song.
Yeah, it was good
that
for him
particular one.
Good for him to do. All right, we're gonna back up here a little bit. Come on, Tom, you're my lead off. There it is. Okay, 1 after 9:09 for the Hunyadi man.
Oh wow,
fun stuff is right behind him there. There's an I Me Mine for you. Oh, we're number 8. We're up to, aren't we?
Yeah.
Up. I'm drunk. I'm sorry, number 8. Oh my God. All right, I got I Me Mine number 8. Fun stuff. 1 after 9:09. I like 9:10. Dig a Pony, Big Noise, Fun Meaningless John Rocker. There you go. 1 after 9:09. Sarah has an interesting comment there. A lousy book.
Lousy book.
That's a good song.
That's an essential book, at least to me anyway, for all the research that I do for my shows.
Yeah, there's a lot of detailed notes and origins and things. Okay. Let's see. Yes, indeed. John and Yoko did a little waltzy dance.
Waltz, yeah.
And okay, thanks for the encouragement, Bob's Place. I like to know that. 1 after 9:09 at number 8. Amazing guitar solo from George.
Yeah, I love his solo in that.
There you go. 2 of Us. Ooh, that's
that's a little. That hurts.
I like the way Ken has trying to have a poker face about some of these. That's the way to play it.
I try to, but sometimes you just
for you.
We all have our opinions. That's all. And opinions can change too over time.
That's right.
For you, Blue, Elmore James did have nothing on this baby. Okay. This is interesting. Let's see. The album Yellow Submariner by far their worst. I don't know if I'd use the word worst.
Yeah, yeah.
Least best, maybe.
least favorite.
But yeah. I mean, yeah, look, if people don't actually genuinely don't like them, I think they're bad. You're right.
I think us hardcore fans always find a place in our heart for every album of theirs, but
Yeah.
I think it's the casual fans would probably throw some of them, like this one, down towards the bottom.
I usually see this one in Beatles for Sale.
Yes, and
For the
Yellow Submarine.
Yeah, and Yellow Submarine.
If you can count that, but yeah. By virtue of the fact that there's only a few new songs and you have George Martin on instrumentals on it. Yeah, but you Let It Be and Beatles for Sale usually wind up down there.
Yeah.
Okay, Ken, number 7 for you. What do you got?
I'm going to put One After 909, which I think is a great rocker, the way that they did it. And, one of your fans wrote in and said that it was, an old song that they brought back. I don't think any less of it for that reason.
Agreed.
Because in this particular case, they really added some spark to that song when you compare it to the version that they recorded in 1963. This one has so much more life and energy. And a lot of that is due to Billy Preston being on the performance. I think it's an excellent rock song. It's one of my favorites overall, which tells you that I must really love all the other songs.
Yeah, the Beatles sometimes themselves, knock the lyrics, move over once, move over twice, don't be cold as ice. I never saw a problem with that.
No, not at all.
Anyway, but they did, I think. Paul mentioned that. Okay. Oh, geez, what did I do? Did I do something? Okay. So now we're gonna go to you now, Matt, for number 7.
All right, number 7. And I hated to put this song here, folks, honestly, and I love it to death. I mean, I saw Paul for the first time in Worcester, Massachusetts in 1990, and boy, I was second row. And when he played this song, I swear there was a little bit of moisture in one of my eyes. At least one of my eyes. It was just. But I put Long and Winding Road here at number 7, and not because I dislike it. I think it's one of the most beautiful songs ever written. The reflective lyrics, it's just the melody is perfect. There may be some fatigue, but I don't want to say I put it here because of that, because it's been on the radio so much and the Beatles channel so much. But I put it at 7 because the 6 other songs above it are just so meaningful to me, and I love them so much that I put this one at 7. But I love it. It's a great song. Long and Winding Road, number 7.
Okay, thanks. For me, number 7, I went with One After 909. That's where it fell, and I echo everything pretty much the same. An upbeat, fun rocker. The words don't bother me. Just rock and roll. It's fun, and I have nothing else to add to that. Well, the '63 version is always fun to hear them attempt it. In '63, never really got a good solid take out of it. The guitar solo is horrendous.
Right.
And one of when it's over, you could hear John say 1963 version talking about what kind of solo was that?
Yeah. Well, like Ken said about this version, how that guitar solo is so fiery and so stinging.
Oh yeah, it's good.
It's unbelievable.
This one, yeah, it's good. All right, so I'm going to go now. This time, stick with 7. Hopefully, I don't go back to 8. Number 7, Dig a Pony. We had from Tom, and we got I Me Mine from Matthew Smith. I Me Mine, I Me Mine, I Me Mine. So all I can hear is I Me Mine, I Me Mine, I Me Mine. I've got a feeling. Number 7. Terms of worst, it's subjective. Let It Be is my favorite because it's the first Beatles album I ever heard. There are people, I know somebody who vehemently loves Let It Be as his favorite album, and it's not, in his case, it's not because it's the first one. He just thinks it's his favorite. So that's a good thing.
I will say one thing about the Let It Be album, since in the discussions that we have on Talk More Talk, we're always talking about how people like not very produced albums and slick albums, and we're going back to a time when, especially with McCartney, they're going back to the early '70s sound, more of a pure organic sound. people now, I think Let It Be sounds really contemporary and very fresh, much the same way that I think the White Album does.
Right.
More so than, say, the more produced Sgt. Pepper type album would be, or in the case of Paul, Tug of War, something like that. So, in a way, if you want just a band sound, no frills, no layers and
No
layers of
studio
production.
effects, just back to basics. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
although you got Phil Spector adding all
Yeah.
Yeah.
on
Phil
a few
Spector, what I
songs,
got.
on a few songs, but
There you go. George's Rosewood Telecaster is blazing on 909. Really drives a very ordinary song. Uh,
Hmm.
there you go. Very poignant, considering when it was released and its lyrics.
Mhm.
Long and Winding Road, that is.
Absolutely.
Two of Us at number 7, and we have Long and Winding. Oh, but what they move? Long and Winding Road, number 7. Does anyone prefer the naked version? I don't.
no,
No,
You know.
I love the Spectre version. My favorite.
me too.
Okay, there we go. All right, folks, we're up to number 6. Ken, I'll start with you for number 6.
Very tough because I love all
Yeah,
the.
for sure. Now we're
Yeah.
getting there.
I picked Across the Universe, which
Mm.
I consider to be a masterpiece of a song. This is one case where I love the melody and the words flow so perfectly from John. He was very proud of the lyrics of Across the Universe, and he even said that he didn't struggle to write the lyrics; they just came to him. And and I love what Phil Spector did in terms of the production, and I like the simpler production of all the other versions. Let It Be Naked, Beatles Anthology, the version that was on the White Album as a
Right.
bonus track. They're all pretty similar without having the Phil Spector treatment. It works really well as just an acoustic song for the
Yeah.
most
I
part.
agree. I agree. Yeah.
But I do love the orchestration that was added to it. You know, not too crazy about the original version, the one that was on the World Wildlife album, which was faster and
Mhm.
had the bird sounds in the
The bird
beginning.
effects. Yeah.
Yeah, but I love what Phil Spector did on it. It's a great song from start to
Mm,
finish.
absolutely.
Okay. All right. So, Matt, you're up for number 6.
I went with One After 909. Again, I mean, Ken kind of spoke to me on that one. It's just a great, great Beatles rocker. I love it. It's an older Beatles rocker, but I like the new updated version. I love the guitar on it. I love the modernized sound of one of these old favorites I used to play back in the day. I just think they did a fantastic job on this version of it. And I wouldn't change a thing on it. I think it kicks butt. I love it up on the rooftop. I can't wait to see it when the Peter Jackson film comes out and all its glory. I just think it's one of the best rockers they ever did. And I have no complaints about One After 909. Number 6.
All right. Good to hear. Number 6 is where I put the Long and Winding Road. Some of it's fatigue factor, but it has to be, I guess, it has to catch me in the right mood. If I'm in the right mood and have the radio on, it should come on. You hear those opening words from
Mm,
Paul. It hits the spot, and I'm like, oh, this is cool. Other times, I'm like, oh, not this again. But it's all the way at number 6, nevertheless, because I appreciate it. Even though if you're in the wrong mood, it can be kind of dirgy. You
right.
know,
Right.
I still prefer what Phil Spector did to it, help it along, uh, as opposed to the way Paul liked it. I find it a much more interesting job than not having any of the, I don't know what you want to call
Stripped
it,
away.
choir or
Stripped back. Yeah.
the strip
Right.
version. I don't really. I
Yeah.
think it's kind of plain, but maybe that's because I'm so used to it. You know, the way we've heard it with the record. For so long before
This is
that.
I mean, we were around when it first came out. Ken was too. I'm just
Yeah.
saying this is the version I grew up on.
Right.
That's the version I heard as a little kid when it was first released, and it's always been my favorite version.
Yeah. Okay,
And
well there you go. That's it for me. I don't have much to say about it. It's a classic, and you think, well, it has to be. It should be in the top 5, shouldn't it? And I try not to get too bogged down with that, where it should be, as opposed to where I feel right now, where I would put it favorite wise.
Mm.
yeah,
You know. So let's go and look at some choices here for number 6, as we have Get Back here. Number 6, we have a For You Blue from Tom,
From
and we have
Tom.
Two of Us. Yes, indeed. Had to go somewhere. Exactly. Get back. Get back. I've got a feeling. Number 6. We have For You Blue. We have another Get Back here.
Mhm.
Let's see. Okay, what is this? Favorite Beatles album, and contrary to general consent, I love "I Me Mine." It's actually one of my favorite songs. That's what
Oh,
I
that's
love
great.
hearing.
I
I
love
love
it. That's
hearing that.
fantastic.
That
Yeah.
shows you how great are the Beatles. I mean,
It's a
everybody
great
has different favorites,
it's a great George
Mhm.
rocker.
you know. Yeah, I was gonna get when I get to this song, which will be very quickly. Yeah, I don't. It's a slowed down version. So
It works better that way.
I
Mm.
agree.
Yep, absolutely.
Let's see. Um, Number 6, Let It Be. Grab your church hymnal, kids.
What's wrong
Let it.
with that, Doc?
Oliver's got it at number 6 also. Oh, Long and Winding Roads from Steve, a weepy ballad, a great song. Two of us. Long and Winding Road, one of Paul's best.
It is, yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Thank you, Bob.
Number 5. Let's start with Matthew.
Okay, I went with I've Got a Feeling for number 5. And let me tell you though,
It's the top
love
5, we should mention.
yeah,
Top 5.
top 5, and this is one of the most awesome Paul rockers ever. And I love the fact that John came in with his little piece of the song, and they, melded them together and made it what I think is one of the greatest rockers from their later period. I mean, when Paul first brought this out of his back pocket to play live in concert sometime in the mid 2000s or so, whenever that was, wow, what a showstopper when he does.
Yeah.
I've Got a Feeling.
Amazing.
It's just unbelievable. And he
Yeah.
goes into, what does he go into the Hendrix song at the end of it? Is it Hendrix?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Am I thinking? I just make sure I'm thinking clearly here. But
come on, I know the
dun,
song
dun,
at the back of
dun.
my
Is it
Foxy
Foxy
Lady.
Lady?
Foxy
Foxy
Lady.
Lady. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just a showstopper. And I've always thought this was great. The performance of it in the film is fabulous. It's just one of the best Paul rockers ever, with a little help from John, and they made it something special. Number 5, I've Got a Feeling. It's a fantastic song.
Yeah, I like you bringing up the performances from Paul when he first added it. Yeah, that was a highlight for me.
What a great moment in his shows.
Okay, Ken, what do you have to start us off with top 5?
Number 5, I put Two of Us. It's a great acoustic song. I love everything about it. It's kind of interesting when you listen to the earlier takes of it, and that what he plays on the acoustic guitar is different. It's not
Right.
da 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 da. Forget how the earlier versions go, but he made that slight adjustment and made a lot of difference there. I love the harmonies between John and Paul and the song. The only problem I ever have with it is that 99% of the time, I believe whatever the Beatles have said about the songs that they wrote in terms of their compositions. And Paul has talked about how this is about going off on a trip with Linda, on the road, just wherever they felt like going. And I believe that. But then when you've got a line like, "You and I have memories longer than the road that stretches out ahead," he only met Linda a couple of years before
Right.
that. So sometimes I think it has something to do with John. But yeah, but it's a great song. I love everything about it. I love how it ends and the whistling at the end. It's great. Yeah, it's da 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 da. That's how it started in the very beginning.
Right,
A
right.
little slight adjustment,
Makes it
Make a
much better.
difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Number 5 is where I have Across the Universe. I always felt like I should have liked that song a lot more than I did and do. I don't love the song, even though it made it to number 5 in this batch. I was having a problem deciding if I preferred it right now to Long and Winding Road. Those are the two I was thinking of flipping. I didn't know which way to go on those, but I thought about it. I said, well, if it was to come on the radio, just willy nilly, which would I rather hear now? And I think I'd rather hear Across the Universe. I love the Spectre version. I love all that extra relish that he puts on it, so to speak. And I like it a little slower. I do not care for the Lizzie Bravo. Lizzie Bravo's great. Hello, Lizzie, if you're watching this. Galen piece version. It's not. I don't really like that as much. It's nothing to do with them. I think it's mostly because it's just too fast for me. I know it's a little too fast, and it sounds a little bit like chipmunky in comparison to what I'm used to. I prefer that. I like the one on "Let It Be Naked" a lot too. But I don't know. I think my favorite. I go back and forth to "Let It Be Naked" and the Spectre version. I might go to the Spectre version. I like that.
Joe, I don't know if you mentioned the anthology version. Do you enjoy that version on
Oh,
anthology?
you put me on the spot because there's certain things that I know well from the anthology, and certain things I do not know well. I mostly listen to number 2, volume 2. Stuff like "I'm Down" and
right.
outtakes like or the earlier stuff like 8 Days a Week and "I'll Be Back."
Yeah.
I don't really play with the third one much, so to speak. So I don't. I got shame, I know, but yeah, I have to give that a listen after this and refamiliarize myself.
It's a
with
more
that.
subtle, stripped back version. It's just beautiful. I love it.
And there's so many versions of that too. It seems they couldn't get that one the way that he really wanted it, or they really wanted it. So this was number 5.
Yeah, we just finished 5.
We got. Let me go up a little bit, fellas. Oh wow, we go up a long way here.
All those other versions to me were very, very similar.
Yeah. Tom's our landmark.
There you go. Yeah, well, not always. He fooled me one time, I think, but most of the time, yeah, along a winding road there, and it's interesting because I don't know how much that Tom is a big fanatic of. I mean that in a positive way,
right.
Of Paul. That's interesting. An interesting choice. Across the Universe, awesome lyrics. He said the Beatles didn't do it justice. I like it better than David Bowie's, I got to tell you.
But, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
But I'll tell you, though, those other versions of Across the Universe, those more stripped down versions, more acoustic, I love them.
Yeah.
If that was the way it came out on the original Let It Be, I would grow to love it that way.
Yeah.
Much more so than The Long and Winding Road on Let It Be Naked. I just think it really works, those other versions. They're very much alike. Let It Be Naked, Anthology, White Album.
Do you have a preference, Ken, for Let It Be Naked or Anthology version? I know they're similar in their.
No.
No, yeah.
But I love the sound quality so much of Let It Be Naked. That really impresses me a lot. But arrangement-wise, it's almost identical.
I just held this quote up here, Across the Universe, another previously released and repurposed song for an otherwise weak album. What we were saying earlier, isn't it interesting how Let It Be has 3 number 1s on it? Let It Be, Get Back, Long and Winding Road.
Absolutely.
Across the Universe is also another Beatle classic, really. If probably the next one that you'd consider a real classic.
Right.
It's popular, really popular. I was just thinking of that.
Yeah, it was on the Blue album.
Okay, yes, on the Blue album, right? We have Let It Be, number 5, I Me Mine, Two of Us, I've Got a Feeling, Get Back. We have a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Let It Be, classic Paul song. Don't need to hear it again. That I say that with sometimes certain songs. Okay. Oh,
nothing wrong with saying it or admitting it, as long as you still respect the song. That's
Queen approves.
The Queen approves. Queen of all Beatles media.
That's all I need to hear. I can go now.
You can leave now.
Yeah. Let It Be number 5. Across the Universe number 5. Let's write this here. Full band, it should have been recorded as Across the Universe. I don't know. I like it kind of like acoustic kind. Well, because that's what I'm used to. Kind of like on its own kind of thing. Wow, there's a lot of comments here. All right, well, I'll just move on because all right, nothing that I can
coming in fast and furious.
Yeah. Okay, folks. Now
top 4.
We got the top 4. And Ken, you're up for number 4. What do you have?
I've got a feeling.
There it
Great rocker, and I love the edginess in Paul's vocals. That's part of what makes it so special. It really flows together so well, and it's one of the many miracles in Beatle history that John's part that he wrote. It's not like he wrote it for the song. He had a separate song that he just inserted in there, and it works.
Yeah.
One of the last Lennon McCartney collaborations. You know,
That's right.
for songwriting right there, and it's a great live song. And like you said, Matthew, I'm glad that he has it as a live song. You know, when he does his concerts, it's a great rocker overall. I think it sounds better over time. You know, I think more people
Agreed.
appreciate that song more now than before. And we all have the ones that we know are classics. I think I've Got a Feeling has become a classic.
Yeah, I've heard more people
I would agree.
singling that out now. Yeah. Okay, Ken, thanks very much. And now, Matthew, we'll move to you for number 4.
One of John's best of all time, in my opinion. Across the Universe is my number 4. I just absolutely adore this song. I prefer the naked version and the anthology version. Like Ken said, they're very similar in their presentation. But I also love the album, the album version. I just love it as a song overall. And I'll agree with both of you about the faster, more bird effects version as being my least favorite. But Across the Universe to me is just one of his best ever. Beautiful melody, beautiful lyrics. It's a song I could listen to all the time and never tire of it. They could play it on the Beatles channel every hour. It wouldn't bother me. I love it to death. It's a fabulous classic John song, and number 4 for me. It's right near the top.
Yeah, I was just thinking, with the Birds, which I forgot to comment on the Birds too. I'm not really wild about that. However, the Birds Across the Universe, the early version, I think it did fit the project maybe better.
For the Our World
Our
thing.
World.
Yeah, right.
Wildlife. So that,
That's
but
a
when
good
I think
point.
of it that way, it fits that. But I just not my favorite.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
It's too fast. It's too fast on the version.
Yeah. It's I think so. Number 4 for me. That's where I put Two of Us. Great song, John and Paul. I don't know, singing together, nice. It's a beautiful song, and maybe I wonder if that's for the last time, or one of the last times where
That
the two of them are together like that. I always think of it that way. Anyway.
Vocally?
Yeah.
Singing on the same mic together. Yeah.
I was thinking of that. It's beautiful, but it's I'm trying to figure what my top 5 are and where they're going to go. So that's the best I could do. The other 3 that I have left, I like a little better than Two of Us even. So there you go. That's my rationale. So as I go back upward we're looking for the number 4s, and there it is. And we got Tom Hunyadi has Two of Us at number 4.
Okay.
Oh, this is interesting. Favorite song of all time.
That says a lot.
Nice.
Across the Universe. Yeah.
I love the lyrics of Across the Universe.
Oh,
it really
beautiful.
Works together so well. I mean, as poetry alone, it stands without having any
just reading it. Just reading the lyrics.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, the words are very good. I've Got a Feeling, number 4. Two of Us, number 4. And we got One After 909 and Paul's Bridge Over Troubled Water.
I think some people might say Let It Be is.
Yeah, there was a big thing about that too, about which came out, what was first or whatever.
Actually, Let It Be was written before.
It was written
Bridge
before,
Over Troubled
because
Water.
it's 70s.
Yeah.
Well, Let It Be there is even in 68. You hear?
There was a snippet of it. A snippet, yeah.
Some of that on the White Album.
Right.
Yeah. So there you go. Yeah. I love
yeah,
Simon
so
and
there.
I'm a Simon and Garfunkel fan.
Hey, Paul Simon's one of my favorite songwriters ever.
Yeah. There you go. The album version is a monster. Let It Be.
Oh, that shred of a solo. I like that way he
Yeah.
describes that. Yeah.
One After 99, Across the Universe. Yeah, well, you took this out of my. I was going to say that too when I get to it. Yeah, as a kid, I thought that was pretty like risque. Yeah. Uh, Get Back at number 4. And here you go. Only Sleeping is with You. Never tire of Across the
Yeah,
Universe.
great.
All right. What do you think of this? Sound
I
the
thought
same
of
as
that. I thought of
Free
that
as
when
a
Free as a
Bird.
Bird came out. I was thinking about that.
The same similar effect. Yeah.
Yeah, to
That's
start the
awesome.
song that way. Yeah.
Oh, Kit's got number 4, huh?
Bigger Pony all the way up to number 4. Okay. So now we're up to the top 3, folks. Wow. And let's go with you, Matthew, to start us off.
2 of Us, number 3. I love this song, and for all you guys said a lot of great things about it already. The lovely John and Paul duetting on it, like Joe said, maybe one of the final times they did it. And I always think of the Everly Brothers when I think of them doing this song together. And I think one of them might have been Paul mentioned it in an interview or something, how like they had that feeling, or he had that idea of like, Phil and Don singing together when him and John did Across the Universe. And I just think it's a beautiful melody. I love the
You mean
the lyrics to it. It's a beautiful, sweet little song, and it's just, I don't know. I know some people had it much lower on the album rankings. Not so much you two guys, but other people in their comments. But I just think it's one of the best, absolute best songs on this album, and it's again one of the songs I just never tire of. I don't tire of many Beatles songs, believe me, and but this is one I could hear over and over again and never grow fatigued by it. It's just a beautiful track. 2 of Us, one of my favorites, not only of this album but of their entire career. I've just always loved it. Number 3.
Well, but do you like it?
Nah, I don't like it that much. I just love it, but I don't like it.
That's what I want to know. All right, Ken, how about you for number 3?
Okay, might surprise you. Number 3 is Let It Be.
Wow.
I mean, Let It Be is an absolute classic. There's no doubt about it. But for me personally, it's one of the few Beatles songs that I have grown tired of. It's one of the Beatles songs that still gets played to death on the radio, even on classic rock radio that only plays late Beatles. You're more likely to hear Let It Be or Come Together. Very little else. I'm not talking about on Beatles shows or the Beatles channel. I get really tired of Let It Be. I know the significance of the song. I know how powerful a message it is. I love when Paul does it live and everybody's lighting up their lighters,
right,
during it, or they have candles or whatever. It's a very soothing song. It's a very calming song. And the message in it is very powerful. So I think it's a great song. I'm just tired of it at this point. I don't mind admitting it. I mean, I said that about Imagine, and believe me, I think Imagine's a great song. But to me, John's written so many other great songs I wish would get the same kind of attention and acclaim that Imagine has. But I mean, Let It Be deserves it. It's no doubt about it. I love it. It's one of the greatest songs ever. I love the whole piano part. I love the organ, the gospel feel of it. I mean, I love the song. I'm just tired of it. And it still ranks number 3.
Yeah. Even with the fatigue factor, it's still way up there.
That's got to tell you something.
Now we understand. It's how we have that all the time.
We go
I'm like
through the
that
same thing.
A slew of Beatles songs, and I had to stop getting the Sirius XM Beatles channel because of all the Beatles songs, hearing them all the time. But yeah, I get that. All right, so it's up to me for number 3. For number 3, I've Got a Feeling.
Wow, good showing.
Yeah, I really like that song a lot. It's it's not tired or anything. It rocks, and you got, like you said, John and Paul kind of collaborating together, though. You just took a piece of a song that John didn't have that was finished for the middle. Works great in there, like you said. And yeah, I was going to say what like the comment had said. that even from when I first discovered that, I didn't listen to that album when it first came out. Wasn't following the Beatles at that point, but I guess when I first heard it, I was probably more like, I don't know, 14, 13 or 14 or something. And I remember thinking to myself, wow, everybody had a wet dream. I love it because that's that street cred that I always
Right,
talk
right,
about.
right.
Yeah.
Beatles being cool, being pushing the envelope a little bit,
Yeah.
and I love that little bit in there, throwing that little nasty part in there, and I like it a lot. And like Matt brought up, Paul bringing it back at one point.
Oh,
I think I remember around 2005. I don't
yeah,
know
it was
exactly
right around then for
what
that
it was,
tour.
but I remember being blown away because so many times I say, "Oh, I don't need to hear him do Yesterday again. I don't need him to do Eleanor Rigby again." But when he pulls a song like that out, oh, that was almost as good as doing Old Siam Sir or
Right,
something
right.
for me,
Okay.
So
Yep.
yeah, so I've got a feeling number 3 for
Good.
Mr. Mayo.
Okay.
As we just go up a little bit. And Tom has I've got a feeling. Oh, thank you, sir.
Ah,
I agree.
right there with you.
Yeah, one
Hmm.
of their last collaborations. Long and Winding Road. I've got a feeling. Let It Be. Let It Be. There you go.
Hmm.
Get Back. We got a couple for two of us here. We got a Long and Winding Road. Let's see. Here's Dig a Pony from Oliver, number 3.
Wow.
Got that way up there, huh?
Best lyrics on the album, Across the Universe.
They are great.
Uh,
I'll say that.
Yeah, the Queen agrees with Tom and me, as she said earlier. I've got a feeling number 3.
Yeah. Good showing, yeah.
Boy, she's being modest about that Queen stuff, huh? She's very modest about it. Yeah, here we go.
Well deserved.
We have I Me Mine at number 3 here.
Uh-huh. That's a good showing for George.
There you go. Yes, indeed.
Oh, thank you.
And
Oh, you got some prizes too.
Yeah, I got a few of those.
I still have records of who won from those days.
Should we talk about this now or later, where you can hear Ken's show?
Oh, that's up to you.
Don't forget to tell when at the end when we listen for the
Yeah.
end when we talk about what we're
Yeah.
doing and stuff.
Okay.
Oh, I mean mine.
That's
All right. Oh,
great
Tom's
song.
already got his number 2 out there, so we'll wait for that. All right. Okay, folks. Now we're up to number 1 and number 2.
1 and 2. Wow.
All right, Ken Michaels. What do you have for number 2?
So once you hear my number 2, you'll know my number 1.
I can't remember everybody's, but I'm trying. When
See,
I'm
it's hard. Sometimes it's hard to keep track.
not from where I'm
Yeah.
sitting here commanding all these things.
Okay, my number 2 choice is Get Back.
Ah,
Get Back, it's the flip side of Let It Be for me because for some reason I never get tired of hearing Get Back.
mm-hmm.
And the feeling of the band live with Billy Preston. If the song was played every single day on the radio, I would never get tired of it.
Yeah.
It's really weird. There are certain songs that are like that. Certain songs you can listen to every day, certain songs you tire of faster.
Right.
Get Back for me is one that I can hear every single day. And great melody. Love Paul's vocals on it. John's lead guitar part, it's really cool. It was just right for the song. I love everything about it. Of course, number 1 record. I always bring up charts, but I got nothing to say about Get Back other than I love it to death and never get tired of it.
I'm gonna jump the gun here, and I'm gonna go next for this.
Go for it. Yeah,
only
absolutely.
because I feel the same. I'll echo the same thing. I have Get Back as number 2. Love
cool.
John's lead guitar on there, and I'm not a musician, but I love it. I love seeing on the rooftop when he's playing it, and to see him concentrate on it. Dedicated to the guitar.
Well, he's got it looking down at his fingers.
And it goes stuff like
digging into it.
Does it go like sometimes it's a little different. It's a little bit like, oh, come on, let's go. I'll get on the horse.
Yeah, it's like it's like galloping. It's one of those great driving songs, It's like,
Billy Preston, great on there on the track.
Oh yeah.
I also sometimes lose sight of this when we're doing, an album. Am I talking about specifically the album version or the single version? I love both.
Yeah.
I love the single version
Agreed,
where, of
agreed.
course, it stops and then Ringo comes back with the drums.
Right.
Then
Dum, dum,
Paul,
dum, dum.
yeah,
That's very
and,
cool.
and
Yeah.
Paul does the coda, or whatever you want to
Yep.
call it at the end of it. But I love also, on the purposes of this show, the way it ends on, the Let It Be album and the classic line about, I hope we pass the audition.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
And when he
Classic.
says, thanks, Mo, he's talking to Maureen, isn't he?
Maureen,
Thanks,
yeah.
Mo.
Maureen Starkey.
Paul says, "Yeah, Ken, and I'm with you. I could hear this anytime." Again, it's funny how that is. There are some songs. It's like, I'm really overdosed on that. I mean, I could name some. I mean, like Yesterday. I mean, I still can listen to it, but Yesterday's one. There's some others. Sometimes something perhaps, but Get Back anytime. I'm there for that. So, okay,
Yeah.
Matt, you're up.
Let's keep it rolling.
I knew
Number
it.
2, Get Back. One of the best Beatle rockers ever. I repeat everything you guys said. I could listen to it every day. I love John's guitar work in it. It's one of those driving songs that you just want to put the pedal to the metal and jack up the speed another 20 miles an hour while you're on the highway when you're listening to it. Turn up the volume. I just love it on the rooftop. I love it on the other, the version where they go out, the regular studio version. They come back with Ringo's little fill there, the single, and then I just love the song. It's just, and Paul's been playing it. Oh my goodness. I don't think he's done it on every tour, but the first time I saw it was on the 89-90 Paul McCartney World Tour. And wow, it's just, I love it. I never tire of it. Get Back. I knew it was going to be way up on this list for me, but it fell at number 2. I love it.
I remember when he did it. I mean, not when he was touring, but when he did it with the Prince's Trust.
Oh,
86.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, oh, yeah, it's amazing. Like, oh, this is great to see him doing with Tina Turner on there.
Yep.
And everything.
That was great. Fabulous.
And I'm thinking, this is fantastic that he's doing this. And then it's like, oh, you don't have to do Get Back every show, Paul. Same thing I could say with Let It Be or any number of songs.
Or
I thought it was
Jude. Hey Jude, he does a lot.
Right?
Yeah.
We all know how we feel about that. Let's see. Where are we at here? Okay, we'll start with Tom. Let It Be. He's got
2
as number 2. We got Let It Be as number 2. Long and Winding Road. Even though it was another previously released number 1, like the guitar added to it. Yep, indeed. And we got Let It Be. We got Let It Be. Let's see now. Nobody has Maggie May.
No, I didn't.
I'm looking for Maggie May here.
You get some wise guy who'll put it up there for you.
Well, we did have one viewer that rated Dig a Pony up there at number 4.
Yeah, right.
Up higher. Yeah.
John said a lot of bizarre things.
Pot
boiler rewrite, son of a tripper.
I don't know.
I would call. I'm trying to think now here. I would call Junior's Farm son of Get Back, or maybe Only Mama Knows son of Junior's Farm.
Junior's Farm,
which I
reminds me a lot. That's one of my favorite McCartney solo songs.
Oh yeah,
but it sounded to me like he was listening to Steve Miller a lot. It has a Rockin' Me feel to it.
Yeah.
Jet Airliner. And ironically, when The Art of McCartney came out, that compilation, Steve Miller covered Junior's Farm.
That's a good point.
So that's when I think of Junior's Farm, I think of Steve Miller a lot. So
interesting.
Great song.
It was so good to see Paul first do Junior's Farm. I think I saw him in 2011.
2011, he did it, Joe.
Right? Yeah. And but he did the edited version, the DJ edit.
Yeah.
But hey, look, at least we got it, right?
Yeah, we got it. At that tour we got night before too, which blew me away.
Yeah.
As an aside,
at the show I went to Yankee Stadium, I vowed I'd never go into Yankee Stadium.
But for that you had to. You had to make a.
I'm a Mets guy, but be that as it may.
Can I say one story here that's tying this all together? When I was on FaB Forum, the podcast, we did a show where we listed the songs that we'd like to see Paul do live, and we had to pick one Beatles song and one solo Beatles song, and this
All
is
right.
before his next tour. Okay, and the Beatles song I picked was The Night Before,
Oh, sure.
Wow.
and the solo song that I picked was 1985. And
Wow.
and the
Same
tour,
show.
it started that tour at Yankee Stadium, and I
Mhm.
went to it, and he played both those songs.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
nice.
was going to say
So
that because he
You
said
wonder if,
we're doing
huh?
it.
We wonder if someone in his camp or he heard that.
Didn't he
yeah,
say we're doing this for the first time tonight?
yep,
Like,
yeah.
right? And that the night before, everybody watches on my channel should know that is like one of my all-time favorite
Was that your
non-tired
was that your
Beatles
secret
songs.
track? Remember when you did your
That
contest? Was
wound up
that the
being
secret
yes,
track?
that
Yeah.
wound up being the track. Yeah, well, Tim Allen won the contest.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, yeah. So okay, folks. So I don't know where if I showed all the number twos. Am I right? Yeah.
I
Okay.
think
I
you
don't.
did. Yeah.
Well, whatever. We're up. We're not going to do it. Show them anyway. If I didn't. Number one. Let's start with Matthew for number one.
Okay. Well, I know Ken said this one had a little fatigue for him, but I got to tell you, this song, and Paul perhaps didn't write it in a spiritual foundation. He always said it was about his mom and all that, but it's Let It Be, because that's one thing I love about the Beatles and the solo Beatles. They may be writing about a particular thing or have a particular meaning, but they open it up for you to interpret it the way you want to interpret it and how it can help you in your personal life and make you feel better, make you feel happier, make you feel joy. So regardless of what his original intent was writing it, there's a lot of people out there, and I being one of them, that always, I respect what he wrote it originally about, but I think somewhere in there, he had that little spiritual aspect to it that he meant to get out to people who are in need emotionally or suffering some tough times and needed that spiritual lift, so to speak. And he definitely, I feel, did it with Let It Be. The emotional impact of it for me and for many people I know is you can't even describe it. I first saw him do it in Worcester in February of '90, the first time I ever saw Paul. And I was crying. I'm going to admit it. I'm not afraid to say when I have emotion, being a guy or not. I was literally crying when he got to Let It Be and started playing that song. I was second row, right in front of him at that venue, and it just hit me like a ton of bricks. And it's just a song that, although there is some fatigue factor to it and whatnot, because of that emotional impact it's had on me, it's always been a song that I'll just keep close to my heart and never get tired of it, and always feel uplifted and positive when I hear it, whether it's on the Beatles channel for the millionth time or whether it's hearing it and Muzak in a store somewhere and they're playing it. I always stop and I always think about it, and I always think about the lyrics to it and the meaning for me with that song, and it'll always be number one in my heart. So Let It Be number one.
Wow, great
Had to say it.
explanation. Terrific explanation. Maybe because I agree with every word for me. So I'm going to go next for this one because I know Ken didn't have we'll save his for the last because it's different. But yeah, Let It Be number one for me. Now we talked about fatigue factor. Certainly, Let It Be is one of the most overplayed, if you like, Beatles songs. But
Right.
this is one, just like Ken was saying with Get Back, or we can hear it. We don't get tired of it. For some reason, this one I don't get tired of it, and a lot of the reasons you say, Matt. I remember there was a show. I want to say 1989ish. There's a Bobby Rivers, I think he was, call-in show, and people were calling in on VH1, I think, and somebody said, Paul, they asked the question, when you wrote Let It Be, I was hoping it was like the, religious, like Mother Mary, was that who you were thinking of? And he said, well, no, I was thinking of my own Mother Mary.
You're right, his mom.
Right.
Yeah.
But, you could interpret any way you like, he kind of verified that, that could also, could be whatever. I don't want to put words in his mouth, but
Right.
and it didn't just sound to me like he was doing it just to say, like, well, if you want it, whatever you want it to be, an elephant, it's an elephant. You want it. He wasn't just saying as if he kind of agreed with that, and it was part of him. And you saw how emotional was it James Corden got with that on the show, James Corden show.
That was I'm glad you're bringing this up.
Right.
Yep.
I just thought of that now. Yeah, and it's an emotional song, and but for both reasons. About I think the idea of your mother maybe like consoling you, or whether if you are a religious type.
And I love the way James Corden was expressing that, and then Paul turned to him and just quietly said, when he said, "Oh, was it his grandfather or somebody? I wish he was here." And Paul said, "He is.
He is.
Just the way. Wow, what a moment!
Yeah, that was a
that
real
just brought it all home for me. I was like,
tingly,
wow.
real emotional moment.
Paul's saying,
Right.
if it means that to you and it helps you, then God bless you.
Yeah, and I like when you said you still like listen to it, you pay attention to what's being said
Right.
in there.
Right.
I don't know what it is. I mean, it must be that, and the church organ. It must be this whole holy feeling to it too. I mean, I'm not going to say I'm not, any of these shouted from the mountaintops, hallelujah type of guys.
No,
per se.
I'm like, yeah, I'm with
Right.
you.
But
Joe.
I mean,
yeah.
I have my spirit. I am spiritual to a degree, but
Mhm.
but yeah, I just love the song. I still love it, and I know Ken does too. Even anybody who
Yeah.
didn't put it number one, they still love it. But other factors come in. Why maybe it's a little played out, or maybe like something better, or whatever.
Right.
But I
right.
gotta give it to Let It Be. And I will also add, I prefer the biting guitar in the album
Yes.
version
Agreed.
of it.
Yes.
You
Yes.
might say maybe the song, does it really warrant that much of a forceful guitar in that part?
Yeah.
I
Some
don't
people
know.
don't
It
like the
works.
real
Yeah.
shredding kind of going on there,
Yeah,
but
I
I
love
like
it.
it. Yeah.
I love it. I prefer the album shredding version. So there you go, Ken. Now we're going to let you close up with your number one.
Yeah, but first I just want to say thank you to the two of you for what you said about Let It Be, because there's something, music can be so overpowering at times when you don't even realize it. And I'm always reminded of people who they hear a certain song, whether it's on the radio or in concert, and they start to cry and they don't have any control over it
It
and they
just
don't even know
happens. Yeah.
why. That's
Mhm.
the most amazing thing to experience sometimes.
Mhm.
And a lot of the songs that the Beatles have given us, group and solo, have done that for me. But yeah, Let It Be is a very powerful song in that regard for so many people. So it certainly deserves to rank way up there on everybody's list. For me, The Long and Winding Road is number one.
Mm.
That's one of my favorite songs of all time from any artist. And it's my second favorite Beatles song next to Hey Jude.
Wow.
Normally, I go deep into Beatle cuts, so it's kind of surprising that the two songs that I would pick were, are classics. But I never get tired of The Long and Winding Road. A friend of mine once said to me that you can't destroy a great song.
Mm.
And I love every single version that Paul has done of The Long and Winding Road. I like the version from Give My Regards to Broad Street. I
Mm.
like the live versions that he's done. There was a very simple version that he released as a bonus track during the Flowers and the Dirt sessions that I liked a lot. I love all those versions, and but most of all, I like the Phil Spector version.
Mm.
And everybody points to Phil Spector, and either they love it or they blame him for it. Nobody mentions Richard Hewson, who is the guy who did the arrangement, the score for all that.
Right.
Phil Spector oversaw everything and approved it. It's true. But I think everything about that arrangement is wonderful. I love the orchestration. I love the choir. I love the harp. It all works for that particular song. And granted, that's the version I grew up on. But I also believe very strongly that we should have a lot more respect for history and the fact that when this song came out, it was a number one record.
Mm.
And as I've said many times, you don't get any better than number one. I know there are some people who will say to me, everything the Beatles did went to number one. Well, that's not true. In the United States, Lady Madonna was not a number one single. The Ballad of John and Yoko didn't go to number one in America, but The Long and Winding Road did, which to me is all the proof that I need that the people who grew up on that recording loved it. And I love all the other versions too. And I like the version on Let It Be Naked.
Mhm.
But I can tell you one thing, that song would never have been a hit unless there was something added to it in terms of orchestration. Maybe you might think that what Phil Spector did and Richard Houston was overdoing it. If George Martin had produced it, it might have been a bit more held back, more restrained, but it needed something. It just as a bare recording, as beautiful as it is, would never have been a hit, as far as
I
I'm
would agree
concerned.
with that. Yeah, I would agree.
That's good points. Yeah, I never thought
So
of that.
yeah, but I love the message in the song. That's another song that's open to interpretation. To me, it's always been about a relationship where you're struggling, but everything leads back to you. Everything leads back to your door. And it is kind of ironic in a way that the Let It Be album was all recorded before Abbey Road, except I Me Mine, but released afterwards, because the last two singles that the Beatles released while they were together were Let It Be and The Long Winding Road.
Right.
And what, The Long and Winding Road is like an epitaph to
Yeah.
the end of the band. It's just ironic that it turned out that way,
Mhm.
considering it
Yeah.
wasn't recorded in that order. But yeah, but it's a haunting song. It's got an incredible melody. And like I said, I love the lyrics to it as well.
Mm.
It's a song I will never tire of hearing. Right now, I'd rather listen to The Long and Winding Road than Let It Be. 5 years from now, I could be different.
Right,
But
right.
The Long and Winding Road is an absolutely stunning, gorgeous song. And I think people get too wrapped up in the whole Phil Spector controversy. Just concentrate on what a great song it is, first of all,
Hmm.
and then build on that.
Mm.
Because if you like all the versions as I do of the song, you can't go wrong.
Mhm.
All right.
Good,
Well,
good stuff. That's
you can't state it any better than that.
yeah,
Mm.
absolutely.
Oh, well, let's do some number ones here. Get Back for Tom. Never gets tired of hearing it, just like Ken. What does Her Majesty say? We'll find out. I think I know, though. For You, Blue. I've Got a Feeling. There it is. Her Majesty says,
Yeah.
Get back. That's it. That's the final word.
Okay.
Across the Universe. Pure
Your
Magic.
magic. Mm.
Um, that's an interesting point. Not enough classic John or George songs on it.
Right, right.
That's
Mm.
I
And
guess
it's
yeah.
a shame that, considering the stuff that George was writing at the time and the songs that they were working on in January of '69, that they couldn't have used some of those songs. They couldn't have, and it's a very debatable thing now, whether or not John and Paul turned down those songs. Did George feel that, he'd rather save it for All Things Must Pass? But, when you listen to the songs that George did on All Things Must Pass, to me, they're stronger than I Me Mine and For You Blue.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I
If
agree.
any of those other songs were on there, it would have made Let It Be a stronger album. And I love those two songs, don't get me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting about you're saying Let It Be, really all that stuff was recorded first, and then we got Abbey Road, and how fitting it was, Long and Winding Road, and Let It Be in a way. I'm thinking Michael Lindsay Hogg, maybe that's where he was going with the film Let It Be, because they were breaking up. So they called it
Right.
Let It Be, and just highlighted that. But then I think with the Abbey Road album, it's also nice to finish the whole thing on the end,
The end. Yeah.
with the final line of
Right.
the song. So, hey, you know what? The single, at least when it comes to the singles, you can think the singles end with like Along a Winding Road. If you want to look at it
They
that
do.
way.
Yeah. Yeah.
They do.
And the albums end with it doesn't work that way because they were.
No,
Let It Be
I
was
know
released.
what you mean, though.
You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Was released.
Absolutely.
All right, I've Got a Feeling. We got Let It Be Across the Universe.
Every version. Yeah. Well, except that fast one.
I believe it's played at funerals. I can believe that. No, I like the Long and Winding Road. I'm just saying.
Hmm.
John's Song to My Soul. That's a nice way to put it.
Good
There
one.
you go. Saw the Beatles in '65. Life altering.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure it was.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Christian.
There you go.
I guess he means the Steve Miller reference, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I love Steve Miller when we get to like Book of Dreams and Fly Like an Eagle and that kind of stuff.
Hmm. Well,
Across the universe.
that My Dark Hour, which Paul drummed on, the lead guitar riff that he used, he put into Fly Like an Eagle.
Ah.
Fly Like an Eagle.
If you listen to My Dark Hour, listen to
I'll have
Steve
to.
Miller's recording. And
Okay.
Paul does some fantastic drumming on that.
All right. Well, thank you, Warren. I'm glad
Thank
you
you.
liked the show. I think
The
this was a
Beatles Kingdom.
blast. And let's see if we have any last remarks here. Hey, thank you, Tom.
Hey, Tom.
Appreciate that.
Hi,
I've got a
Tom.
feeling. Number one, I got a feeling, babe. Oh, I know Mitchell wants that Babies in Black at number one. Wise guy. All right. Wow, so much stuff here. Oh my. Hello, everybody. Okay. Well, let's comment here. There you go. And although this doesn't,
Yeah.
this next comment here doesn't really fit. I agree with this. Imagine Me There for Ringo, very emotional song.
Oh,
Oh, I've
Wow.
passed. Oh, sorry.
I'm sorry about that,
Oh
Steve.
my, sorry.
My
That is a really
condolences.
wonderful song. Yeah.
My condolences, Steve, and that is a beautiful song.
hmm
Hey, Marv. Glad you liked it. Well,
Thanks, Marv.
I had a blast as always. Thanks
Yeah.
for being here, Ken. And
Thank you,
it was
Joe.
great to have you. Now, somebody asked before. Maybe you can fill us in where he can hear you, and what your show is, and what it's broadcast on, and so forth.
Okay, the show Every Little Thing, that's my syndicated show that I was describing before. If you go to my website, kenmichaelsradio.com, there is a page that says Every Little Thing, and it lists all the radio stations around the world that run them, and with links to their websites and broadcast times. The show can only be heard as a live feed on any of those stations.
Mhm.
It's not on demand. You're really not supposed to legally make songs available on demand. So that's why that's done. So any time of the week, practically every single day of the week, Every Little Thing is airing somewhere. So all you have to do is go to my website to find out when and where, with links to those websites. And then there's the Things We Said Today podcast with Darren DeVivo and Alan Kozin. We're recording a show tomorrow. It's going to be all about, it's a general discussion about box sets, archival box sets that have come out through the years, the McCartney ones, the Beatle ones, the Lennon ones. And that'll be coming out this week, Wednesday or Thursday. And that's available on iTunes, Podbean, and also we have a YouTube channel. Then we have Talk More Talk. Our next show is, what's the date, Joe? Because it's not.
The 12th of July, July
Yeah,
12th.
and we're going to be reviewing Pipes of Peace as an album.
Oh,
Yeah,
that'll be
The four of
interesting.
us.
That'll be
yeah,
interesting.
yeah.
Yeah.
Pipes
And
of Peace.
and there's also my YouTube channel, which is Ken Michaels Radio. And throughout the week, you're going to find new interviews that I post there. Just did one with Kid O'Toole. We did something called the Number 9 Dream Show. For those of you that don't know what that's all about, I asked my guests to pick a Beatle, and then I have 3 categories that I come up with for that Beatle. And for each one, they have to list their top 3 in each. So we picked George Harrison for Kit, and she had to name her top 3 most underrated George Harrison Beatle songs, favorite Harrison solo albums, and favorite Harrison lyrics of all time.
Oh,
So
wow.
it's 3 answers for each, 9 answers, Number 9 Dream. And I also just did a new interview with David Courtney. It's a name you might have heard of before because he's a songwriter who's worked with, mainly he's best known for working with Leo Sayer. He co-wrote The Show Must Go On, which was a big hit for Three Dog Night back in the 70s. He co-wrote Long Tall Glasses, I Can Dance, with Leo Sayer.
Yeah, Leo Sayer.
Yeah, and he's a producer as well and a recording artist, and he worked with Paul because David also has worked with Roger Daltrey. And there was an album that Roger made in 1977 called One of the Boys, and there was a song on there called Giddy, which Paul wrote, which was originally Rode All Night from the Ram album. And so David worked on that recording with Paul there. And also an Adam Faith album in 1974 that Paul and Linda added backing vocals to. He's got stories to tell about his relationship, his encounters with the Beatles. He met all of them except John. He's met George Martin and Jeff Emerick. He talks about that. And also, one of the things that I want to do on my video channel is something called the Songwriter Series. If there's someone who's had success as a songwriter, I want to probe their minds and learn about their songwriting craft and find out if the Beatles were an influence in any way and how you can discover that through their own music. So he talks about that, what his favorite Beatle music was, especially Revolver, he mentions early on as an album. So that's something that's new, and that's on my YouTube channel, Ken Michaels Radio. And I think that's everything.
Nice.
For now, it's Every Little Thing for now. for now. For now. For now.
Very good.
Yeah, and I can't possibly come up with anything to beat that. That's quite a schedule.
Yeah,
A lot
you're
of
on.
cool stuff
You're
coming
on
up.
every day. Who are you kidding?
Yeah.
You're on YouTube every day.
How about you, Matt?
No, just real quick. Come over to the Matthew Street channel. I do 75% Beatles, 25% other stuff. I do a once in a while show with Stephen Schnee called the Matt and Steve Show. Matt
Snow.
Matt and Steve Show. And our most recent one's coming up soon. It's going to be posted on my channel and his channel. We interview, it's a great interview with Marty Scott, who's the head of GEM Records, and a couple of the artists on the GEM Records label. They're coming out with a brand new album. GEM Records celebrates Brian Wilson, is coming out in mid-July. So that's a big thing coming out. We interview them about the album. They also did a GEM Records celebrates John Lennon last October, which was a fun compilation. So we look forward to this new Brian Wilson one. So I'll be doing that. So yeah, come on over and check it out. Thanks, Joe.
All righty. And to answer this question, what's next in FaB GaB? Past Masters singles, or are you skipping that one? No, we did Past Masters 1. So we did Past Masters as a 1,
Right. The
volume
first
1.
one. Yeah.
The way it first came out. Now we're going to do 2, which is in a lot of ways I don't think is fair, to be honest with you. I mean, putting Day Tripper against Hey Jude or something, for example. I mean, how do you do that? But we'll just do it just to say we
Yeah, we'll give it a shot.
And I don't know when that's going to be because we have to discuss that. Just
yeah, we'll have to figure it out with the holiday coming up. Yeah,
we'll figure that out and let you in on it. And a lot of people that are in different time zones are complaining. Well, they're just saying that they're disappointed because we're starting later a few times now. We've been starting at 7, which means it's midnight to them.
Yeah.
So we'll see what we can do about starting a little earlier if possible. If not,
right.
we're going to do the best we can. So anyway, yes, I think everything's covered. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for watching. And Ken, thank you
Joe,
for being our guest.
Yeah, Ken, thank you so much. Great meeting you and spending some time with you.
Yeah, come on my channel.
Yeah, we'll stay in touch. Joe has the connective information he can pass along. So
yeah, I want to thank Joe for not giving me the White Album to do.
Oh, that was a rough one. That was
How can you do that?
Well, we did it somehow, but it's ridiculous.
That was a long one.
It's true. Well, anyway, we got to do this again real soon.
Yeah.
How about tomorrow night? That's a honeymooners reference. I don't know if Gary Wilbur's watching, but all right, everybody, take care.
Thank you, everybody.
See you soon. Next show. RX. Later.